So apparently when people think of the surrender at Appomattox Courthouse, they just assume that Grant and Lee randomly met in the middle of nowhere to end the war. Wrong. The surrender was caused by the Battle of Appomattox Courthouse, which is what this video is about, along with the events that led up to it and the effect that it had on America. The battle took place April 9, 1865, but the attack that started it all was June 9, 1864, at the Siege of Petersburg. Grant unsuccessfully attacked the city of Petersburg, Virginia, which was a crucial supply source for the Confederate Army and its capital, Richmond. After he failed, Grant built trench lines over 30 miles from Petersburg to Richmond, cutting off any and all supplies to Lee. It worked, and on March 25, 1865, after 10 months, Lee gave in to the pressure and abandoned both cities in the night in hopes of reaching North Carolina, where more of his troops were waiting. But to get there, Lee needed supplies. He started heading towards Appomattox Station, where a supply train was waiting, only to get cut off by General Philip Sheridan's troops. The rebels attacked, and the Union soldiers cut through their lines. 9 generals surrendered, and the delay prevented Lee from arriving at Appomattox until late April 8th, giving General Sheridan enough time to arrive and steal his supply train. Side note, the day prior, April 7th, Grant sent Lee a letter giving him a chance to surrender. Lee refused, but he asked for terms. Back to the 8th. Cavalry under General George Armstrong Custer showed up and burned 3 more of Lee's supply trains. The Army of Appomattox and the Army of James also arrived, ready to fight Lee's army. Lee now looked west towards Lynchburg for supplies. The only thing blocking him was the Union Army. He sent a note to Grant stating that he was not giving up, but he would discuss terms and the effect on his army. Grant reportedly had a headache that day and read it as, "Lee still wants to fight." At dawn, April 9, 1865, Confederate troops commanded by General John Gordon attacked the Union line. After taking the ridge and seeing the rest of the Union Army, they fled. After reporting to Lee, Lee knew the only thing to do was surrender. Grant allowed Lee to choose the place he wanted to surrender, and Lee sent his right-hand man, Charles Marshall, to choose the place. Marshall finally decided on the home of Wilmer McLean, located in the small village of Appomattox Courthouse. Grant and Lee arrived and spoke terms, the terms being Lee's men would not be imprisoned or prosecuted and may return to their homes. Officers may keep their arms, and Union soldiers would not taunt or celebrate. These terms were a blueprint for future surrenders. Soon after, all other Confederate armies also surrendered. Lee's surrender became the end of the Civil War and the beginning of reunification of America.